When Brin and Page started Google, they had no idea how they would make money. Thanks to pay-per-click advertising, they no longer worry about that. Google turned its first profit in 2001, and it's been onwards and upwards ever since. The popularity of Google's pay-per-click advertising created a whole new set of challenges for Messrs. Brin and Page. Online businesses, fighting for a spot among the top search results, began looking for a competitive edge.
The competition to be in the top 5 search results is intense. In fact, Google has created an entire industry of companies that do nothing but advise advertisers on how to come up with keywords that will put them in the top 5.
One of those companies, they're called search engine optimizers, is Prime Visibility.
This is showing us by clicking on the cache button what Google sees in its index.
Andrew Hazen is the company's founder and CEO. Prime Visibility specializes in placing websites near the top of Google's search results. To do that, they tailor client sites to score high in PageRank, Google's measure of importance.
Google is infamous for its PageRank, and we'll show you on a scale of 0 to 10 what the website's PageRank is.
A top-secret formula, PageRank reportedly contains more than 500 million variables. In this PhD paper, Page and Brin revealed that the most important variable is links from other websites. Search engine optimizers make sure their client sites have plenty of those. Optimizers have figured out numerous other PageRank variables as well. BoxesDelivered.com, one of Hazen's clients, appears among Google's top 3 listings.
BoxesDelivered.com is a website that helps people on the move. Basically, when people are looking to move, whether it's commercial or residential, we know from our keyword research that moving boxes and moving supplies are the top 2 search for terms.
Google awards high points to sites where the search term appears numerous times. So Hazen sprinkles the words moving boxes throughout the web page.
And as you scroll down, you can see the words highlighted. And these are the words that Google can see in the formula and then take into account how often it's being mentioned.
But it's not just quantity that Google is looking for. It's also quality. Where do the search terms appear?
Everything gets a point value. So a title tag, which is the name of the actual page, can get a scale of 1 to 10 and might be worth an 8 or a 9. The actual page content can be worth a 9. Just having regular text is not as advantageous as having text in bold or actual clickable links.
Hazen also increased the number of clickable links pointing at boxes delivered from other websites. The original Boxes Delivered site had only 6 or 9. Hazen increased the number to 90.
So at BoxesDelivered.com, we may look for a website, for example, that has a change of address service. And we would put up a link on the Boxes Delivered website first, and then contact them and say to them in an email, we've already linked to you. You can see by clicking here. Please be good enough to link back to us.
Prime Visibility's clients include Lauren Hutton's Good Stuff, Tourneau, and Wells Fargo Century. Website optimization is now an essential part of doing business on the Internet. Efforts to beat Google's ranking system are a huge problem for Brin and Page because they threaten what has set Google apart from all the other search engines, the relevancy of its results. Google retaliates by periodically updating its secret algorithm. Back in February 2003, webmasterworld.com began naming the updates just as the Weather Bureau does hurricanes. The first was Boston, followed by Cassandra, Dominic, and Esmeralda. Then, on the morning of November 14, 2003, came the mother of all updates, Florida.
We really don't know exactly what it was all about, but we know it was the most intense update Google has ever had. Almost every website that was commercially based on the net had pages that were lost, that gained. It was a dramatic shift.
Untold numbers of commercial sites that were ranked high in Google searches were all of a sudden blown away, nowhere to be found.
Prior to the Florida update, we pretty much knew what Google would do, and the updates were minor in nature. After the Florida update, nobody had really a clue what Google had done. It was chaos for a little while.
It was a major, major update, but it was also, I think, a very important statement by Google that they're in charge here. And at the end of the day, they can do what they want with their index.
By the end of 2003, Google had signed up more than 100,000 advertisers and was processing about 200 million queries a day. It was the undisputed king of search, and many of its original investors were eager to cash in. It was time for Brin and Page to take the company public. 2004 was a watershed year for Google, the year Brin and Page took the company public. And the year that powerhouse Microsoft officially launched its own search engine. In their letter to prospective stockholders, Brin and Page cautioned that Google would not be a conventional company. Their goal, they said, was to make Google an institution that makes the world a better place.
The stock deal was a reflection of the idealism that they bring to the way they run Google. I think that they set it up so that not just institutional investors and Wall Street insiders would be able to benefit from the stock, but that their entire user base would be able to buy into the stock deal as well.
The unusual approach meant smaller fees and smaller potential profits, thus alienating much of Wall Street. Wall Street was also concerned about Brin and Page's management skills. As a result, Google's stock offering got off to a rocky start, with a price much lower than expected.
In the world of business, it probably doesn't make sense to piss off Wall Street when you don't necessarily have to.
But it was Brin and Page who had the last laugh. The stock price eventually soared, and they are now worth about $4 billion each. Friends say the windfall hasn't changed them, that they still have the same values as when they started.
I try to lead a modest lifestyle still. My car is about 10 years old. It's Honda, nothing really fancy, and I have an apartment in Palo Alto.
They are still very devoted to the business, very devoted to the technology side of it, to coming up with new ideas, building new things that make information more available.
Nevertheless, the transition to a publicly held company has required some adjustments.
So when the venture capitalists told them, time to get a CEO, guys, you guys are growing and you really need some adult, supervision here, they didn't agree with that. It was really only until they could all settle on Eric Schmidt, who was a very well-respected engineer with a lot of management experience and sort of a perfect fit, would they even allow the idea of a CEO to come into the equation.
Now that Google is a multi-billion-dollar company, it faces challenges it never confronted before.
The biggest problem, I think, for Google is how do they go from being a company that had 100 people 2.5, 3 years ago to a company that has 10,000 people in 2 to 3 years from now. That is the hardest thing for any company to do, and they're doing it at an incredibly accelerated pace.
Many of Google's employees are now millionaires as a result of the stock sale. That creates other problems.
I think as a result, Google and Larry and Sergey are going to have to deal with turnover at Google in a way that they've never had to deal with before.
And then, of course, there's the competition. Page and Brin have proven that search can be extremely profitable. Now, everyone is gunning for them. Yahoo has been buying up other search engines and adding services. With powerful Microsoft now flexing its muscles, many experts expect the beginning of an internet search war.
We definitely have a new generation of competitors, and it's something that we take seriously. Microsoft and Yahoo are both very strong companies.
To stay ahead of the competition, Google continues to add new sparkle to its growing list of services. Google Desktop searches a computer's hard drive, just as Google searches the internet.